podcast in over a year.
I got that right here. I got it recorded. A little behind the scenes of what we do when we're getting set up. This is what he's doing.
This is ridiculous. Call for a personal foul. That was absolutely ridiculous.
The Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
Up on down. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series.
I don't know. It's tough. Tom's up there, man. BEANTOWN.
What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to episode 26 of the BEANTOWN Takes podcast. It's your boy Jesse Almeida here, back on YouTube and back on BEANTOWN Takes. And guess who's back tonight? Look who's back here tonight.
This guy, huh? This guy. What's going on?
What's going on, man? It's been a minute.
Yeah.
The last podcast I think you and I did was with Bree. It was in the end of April. Either end of April, early May.
Was that a full podcast, or was that just a...
It was just the Celtics.
Yeah, that's wild.
So,
Damn.
this is the first time we're doing a full podcast, and I don't know how the hell long.
It has been too long.
It's been really long, so no pun intended there. Pause. Exactly. So, we're covering all four teams tonight. We haven't done that in a while. You want to say any opinions before we hop into a team? Because you haven't been on here in a while.
I'm just so glad that 2 out of the 4 Boston teams are going down. And the only two teams I care about are going up, baby. Let's go. That's all I care about.
You like the Celtics. You like the Bruins, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the 2 I care about, and they're doing good.
So, perfect for you right now, right? So, I think we're going to hop on Celtics, because let's start on the high note, right?
Okay.
I think we should start on the Celtics. They deserve the first segment of the podcast. You think so or no?
Sure.
He doesn't. He's just here for the ride.
I'm just doing the Tatum Shrug, man.
Alright, Celtics. Currently undefeated at home. Maybe not after tonight, but let's go on to the Celtics. Let's talk about some Celtics basketball real quick, because you attended your first TD Garden game.
I did.
So let's talk about them. Let's get to it.
Well, I've been a fan of Boston Celtics for, my whole life pretty much.
The first Celtics game was back when I was like 7.
The Boston Celtics became legendary.
Alright, Celtics. Undefeated at home right now. You went to your first ever Celtics game at TD Garden. You're now 2-0 now. Which game did you go see, by the way?
We saw the Sixers with Embiid and Maxey were out, and the Celtics still somehow almost found a way to lose that game.
Because Tatum got thrown out!
Yeah, but they won because Tatum got thrown out.
Yeah, yeah, he wasn't playing good that game whatsoever.
Well, I think it more had to do with the team responded finally, and they finally woke up after he got ejected.
Yeah, no, very true, very true. But what's your assessment on them right now? Because I've been talking about on my videos or whatever that they look better at home now compared to before. They're doing better at home, but now it seems like on the road is where they're kind of having an issue.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair though, you know, I'm trying to remember the 5 losses they have. The 2 that I remember right now is the Pacers in the in-season tournament.
Yep.
And the Magic in the in-season tournament.
Correct.
Both of those teams are young dogs.
Yip.
Like those teams are gonna give them fits because of the fact that they're young, they're athletic, and they're gonna stretch the floor more than you can stretch. And it's just gonna be one of those where it's, you know, in a 7-game series you'll be able to beat them because the young legs will wear out, but and like your experience will show.
Yep.
But in a 1-game matchup, I don't think it was more of a, you know, that they lost. Like, I don't think. I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. They played okay in those games, and that they know
they just fell apart.
Yeah,
that's what happened. And what doesn't help either is Joe sometimes not calling timeout either. I feel like we're still on that issue a little bit with Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I think
he's gotten better. I mean, I will say that. I think we can all agree that he's gotten better, but there is still an issue where there's games where the other team will go on like a 10-0 run, and he doesn't call a timeout one bit.
Yeah.
And stops that run or attempts to stop that run. We still have that issue, but I'll tell you what, the top 6 on this team, we have no issue whatsoever. All that matters going into the playoffs will be health.
Yeah.
If you're healthy going into the playoffs, like Porzingis told me Monday, I agree. I think Banner 18's coming this year to Boston.
Oh, for sure. So, and I'd like to see how far along these guys get versus the 08 team that said that the 08 team saying that they're going to be 41-0.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing how far if these guys can get further along and get closer to going undefeated at home than those guys did.
So how do you like the Porzingis fit so far? I'll start with Porzingis first because we met him on Monday.
I think he fits their scheme really well, and he's going to be a good pivot piece off of Al Horford when Al Horford decides to finally retire.
Yes. Locked him up too, so you have him for this year and another 2 years after that.
Exactly.
So that's a plus.
Yep. I think he's exactly what Al gives you, a pure stretch 4 who can defend the rim.
And you know what too? You know what I'm thinking about too? His defense, very underrated. Didn't know how good of a defensive player he was until he got here. That boy can get some blocks, man.
Yeah. What was it? ESPN hired Doc Rivers, and they were the one. And Doc Rivers says that Porzingis gets too much hate for what people think that he was.
Yes.
That he's actually secretly a dog. Like everybody in the league thinks he's a dog, as much as the fans don't want to tell you that he's a dog.
Yeah.
So I think that he does fit, and he does protect the rim really well.
Yeah.
So I think that his defense, I don't say it's the same as Rob Williams because nobody can really replace what Rob Williams can give you. But if he's going to be on the court a lot more than Rob Williams, then I think he's a more valuable defender.
Which we know that's going to be the case because Robert Williams is out now.
Yes.
Again, we wish that Robert Williams comes back quickly and better than ever. But right now, all you can say, Brad's a wizard.
Yeah.
Trader Brad.
Yep.
Is it time to give him that nickname?
I think it's yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Derek White trade alone.
Oh, tell me about it.
And then he gets Tingus Pingus and Drew Holiday for absolute nothing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I saw an article when they got Derek White, and the article said that this might have been Brad Stevens' first mistake, trading for Derek White. That aged like milk. That dude on the court, man. Oh my God! No wonder why they were willing to trade Marcus Smart this offseason.
Yeah, he's truly showing that he's. It's funny enough. I think he's your fourth option, and some nights he looks like he's your third option.
Which is crazy when you have Drew Holiday on this team too, who averaged 19 points a game last year for Milwaukee. He was their second option for Milwaukee last year, and you thought at the beginning of the season it was gonna be Tatum is your first option, Brown is your second, Porzingis would be your third, and then Drew would be your fourth, and White would be the fifth guy as your option.
And even might even be the sixth if you slide Al Horford in there.
Yeah, you know Al Horford is the elite shooter. Oh, by the way, shout out to Horford, man, for taking the step back, going to the bench. Definitely not easy for him. It's not easy for anybody to do that, but he's fit in that role very well. And there might be times, too, in the playoffs, like, for example, facing Joel Embiid. Maybe you throw out the double big lineup against Philadelphia because Horford locks down guys like Embiid and Giannis. We've seen him do it time and time again.
Yeah. I don't think it's I think it's I don't think it's hard for him. I think he kind of understood his role on this team, that he's more going to be the leader, the dad in the locker room, and that he's not the same player as he was. I think he accepts who he is, and that he's now a role player on this team because his team is just so stacked 1 through 6.
So shout out to the Uncle Al, man. Uncle Al in the building.
Yes, exactly.
Being the veteran leadership that he is, might go down as one of the most underrated Celtic of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a hot take anymore. This is his 6th year with the Celtics. He's done everything that you've asked him to do in his time here. I don't think that's a hot take anymore.
I thought this was more like his 8th year.
So he had
the 4. I think
he had the 3. He had the 1 with Isaiah Thomas and the 2 with Kyrie. Then he went to Philadelphia, and then he came back to Boston after.
Gotcha. I thought there was more time with IT.
I wish he was here longer than he was, honestly.
Yeah. No, I truly it would be very tough for him not to go down. It's very underrated because, like you said, both sides of the ball, he is a dog, and he shows, and he's helping Tatum and Brown, I think, step into that role, especially with White and Holiday. I think they're all helping their maturity level. That they're the right veterans.
He's the right leadership for them to take control, as opposed to somebody else who was traded in the offseason. We love and trust him forever, but I don't think that he was. I think he was holding them back a little bit.
Yes.
And that's kind of why they let go of him. But people hate the trade still. All I have to say is just go watch Porzingis highlights with the Celtics, and you'll feel better after that. I think you've mentioned a long time ago in a podcast, because I was watching back podcasts, that if you want to trade Smart, you have to trade him for the right guy. And I think it's safe to say that they traded for the right guy in Porzingis. The teammates love him.
Yeah, the teammates love him. The Boston loves him. I think he likes being here from what it looks like from your video.
Yes.
It looks like that he actually enjoys being here and that he's loving to play basketball. And he's, like I said, he's going to be the Al Horford of this team for almost the rest of his career, as long as both parties want to still keep him here. And they're willing to pay to keep him here.
And you know what's great, too? I was just about to say, this ownership, they don't give a damn if they're in that second apron whatsoever. As long as they keep their core and they're competing for championships year in and year out, that's all they care about. Red Sox and Patriots.
Yeah, it's great to see. It's refreshing to see.
Oh, it's so good because we need a team like this in this city. We haven't had that. Well, we haven't really had someone buy in like this in a minute. You can say, obviously, like the Celtics have been championship contenders for a while now, but in terms of going out and giving their homegrown talent the contracts that they deserve, we haven't seen that, really.
No.
It's been a while. And is there anything on the court, not like if they're healthy in the playoffs whatsoever, is there anything on the court that concerns you going into the playoffs?
The only thing I would say is that their depth, beyond one, again, in the playoffs, you only really play an 8-man rotation for the most part.
Correct.
But that puts you at Horford, Hauser, Pritchard off the bench. And I don't know, it's not a bad bench, but where these teams, you can get players who can play, like Jimmy Butler will play 48 minutes a night against you in a postseason.
Correct.
Hero will be able to do this, will be able to put up, close to 40. Bam will put up 40. You know what I mean? There's other teams that I don't say have more depth, but their stars are willing to put their bodies more on the line.
Right.
And are more well conditioned to be able to give you the full 40 to 48 minutes worth of game that is demanded from them. Where I don't know if the Celtics, if Tatum and Brown and White and Holiday will be able to keep their legs for 40 minutes and be effective in the 40th minute. That's the only thing that concerns me, is I don't know how their depth is going to hold up against a better conditioned, more in-depth team.
So right now, your best 7 is set. I'm putting it out there. Sam Hauser's on that top 7.
Yeah, of course.
I think he has to be in that top 7 come playoff time. He's averaging 10 points a game,
Not bad.
Pretty good. He took a huge leap. Shout out Sam Hauser, by the way, man. If you asked me before the season is Sam Hauser going to average 10, I say, no, maybe like 5, 6 a game, whatever. No, he's taking a huge leap.
Yeah. He's shown that he can be that guy when the starter on the two, Brown and Tatum, aren't those guys and they're having bad night shooting. He can give you a spark off the bench and get the shooting going.
Everybody's buying into their role. Yes. Everybody's bought into their role, which is great. And I didn't go to his picture yet because I was kind of saving this to the end. The Drew Holiday trade. Your thoughts on that? Because, we haven't heard your thoughts from the offseason yet.
So what did you end up? You ended up giving up Brogdon and
Rob Williams.
And
2 picks, I believe. I think one of them was the Golden State pick. I think it's top 5 protected. I'm not sure. And then you gave him one of your own picks, I believe.
Okay. So I mean, you don't know what Malcolm Brogdon is going to be when he came back from that nerve. So that's what I've always said that
you did. Me. That's why I asked you. That's why I saved this question for last, because that was like your biggest.
It's always my biggest concern. Is like I said, nerve and ligament issues, tendon issues. 99% who's coming back.
And I'm gonna pause you for a second. I feel like you're right in the Brogdon nerve thing because, I think he's averaging around 17 points a game this year, but his 3-point shooting is like 38% as opposed to 45% from last year. And he's, from the field at least, he's shooting like 42, I think, 43. Not as good as last year.
Yeah.
So he would have, if he was on this team, he would have taken a dip from last year.
Huge.
And honestly, from reports that came out with the whole entire thing, because Brogdon didn't show up to training camp. He was the last one that they were waiting on. I kind of think that he was unhappy with his role here. So if you're going to trade off Brogdon for a piece, I've been saying this to you off camera. Don't trade Brogdon away for... So he would have been like the quarter in the trade. And don't trade a quarter for 2 dimes and a nickel. Go out and get yourself a piece that's going to help you out right now. You think Drew Holiday fit what they needed?
Yes.
His ball movements is absolutely phenomenal. Like his playmaking and all that. Exactly what they needed. We've been saying how long that they've needed a true point guard.
It really, yes. It's, I don't know how many times I'm blue in the face I can say that.
Yeah, both of us.
Yeah.
That's something that we've been praying on for the last 2 years. Get yourself a true point guard instead of Marcus Smart, who thinks he's Steph Curry and thinks he's a scorer he is.
So, let's see. In 16 games this year, Brogdon is 41.4 from the field, 38.3 from 3.
So I was right.
77% from the line.
Yeah, so I was right.
Yeah. It's with
I was actually dead on. Wow.
averaging 16.5.
Which, the points per game is up, but, like, you have to expect that because he's on Portland.
Yeah.
So, and he's getting the ball a lot more than he would be with the Celtics.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You nailed that take.
And then Rob Williams is very inconsistent as much as defense is great, being actually available to play. So, and when you got Porzingis, Horford or Rob Williams were disposable, I would rather keep Horford here because I think Horford should retire a Celtic and like he's the ultimate Celtic.
That's what I said. So Bree and I did a live podcast in October, like right before the season began. And this was when, like, the whole rumors were coming out for Drew Holiday that the Celtics were going to be in and all that. And she was willing to do Brogdon and Al Horford in a trade. But what I was saying to her is Al Horford is on the court way more than Robert Williams is. Yeah, sure, Robert Williams may have the higher ceiling than Al Horford does right now. But we know who Al Horford is. Yep. He plays well here. He locks up these superstar talents in Embiid and Giannis, and he's going to be on the court come playoff time. We don't know if Robert Williams is going to be on the court come playoff time. So if I'm going to deal out one of the two, it's going to be Rob. I love Rob and all that. He's great. He's great defensively, but he's too inconsistent being on and off the court.
Yeah, he's too inconsistent, and his offensive game is so limited. And Al can be a spot-up shooter and a pick-and-roll guy.
And that's the other thing I was telling her too. Robert Williams on offense is a liability because you know he's not going to shoot the mid-range game. This year, like in his games that he played, we did see him expand the mid-range game a little bit, but I don't know. That can only last for so long, I feel like, especially when teams are guarding you or whatever. They might sag you off eventually, but like if you don't have a 3-point game nowadays, they're not gonna care. They're not gonna care as much.
Yeah, exactly. And he isn't like as much as we all hate Missoula's philosophy on shooting. 3-point attempts are the most important stuff. As much as I hate that, if that's the system he wants to run,
right,
he doesn't fit the system.
He doesn't fit it.
So he's one of those words like, you know what? If you're gonna go for broke and you want to prove us all wrong, might as well build a team that's going to prove us right.
Right, exactly.
So, he doesn't fit the system. Find somebody who fits the system, and you found 2 players in this offseason that you brought in that fit the system that he wants.
They didn't lose their defensive identity either, bringing in Drew Holiday.
I think they got better.
I agree. I take Drew Holiday over Marcus Smart, and then I take Porzingis over Robert Williams. So, theoretically, you really lost an injured Malcolm Brogdon.
Yep.
And you lost Grant. You take that offseason all day long.
Yeah.
Especially if Sam Hauser comes out shooting the lights off like he has been this year. You have your 7.
I think Grant's too much of a hothead, too.
Can you believe that ESPN put him 97th in the top 100 and they kept Derek White out of the top 100?
They did what now? Hold on, insert that meme from the Patriots game though.
Yeah, picture. Yes, which shout out to you guys by the way for starting that. That was unbelievable. You might get a new one now with that face. But yeah, Derek White, out of the top 100. Grant Williams, who was getting DNPs, made 97th. I hate ESPN. I really do.
So you think about it, right? There's 30 teams in the NBA.
Yep.
That means that he's the, think about it. If every team has 3 good players,
Yep.
that means that that's 90. So that means that he's the 4th best player on a team. Roughly speaking, yes. Some teams, Detroit probably only has 1 player
Right.
up there. Charlotte probably only has like 1 player up there. But like, you know what I mean? That's still saying that he's better on average. He's the 4th best player on almost every team if you average it out.
You know what's crazy? He's probably top 50 now.
Who?
White.
Oh, I think Grant Williams.
No.
I was like,
I'm not that crazy. I'm saying D. White. He might be in the top 50. Okay, top 60 maybe. He's definitely better than Smart. Because Smart was actually ahead of Porzingis on that list.
Yeah, I'd put them both in front of Smart.
Well,
that's
just me too. If you pull up the top 100, I guarantee you'll find 20 people on that list where you say, how in the hell are they better than Derek White?
You know what? We might have to make our own list and they make that in a second video.
Oh, that would be a good idea. Maybe a little end of the year video, our top 100 in the league.
Yeah.
That would be a great video.
Go for it.
So, what do we got from this segment? Celtics, talking about them this season.
Celtics good.
Celtics good. We got a new meme, a new face, and then we got Derek White somehow not in the top 100.
No, I truly think all in all through this whole season, for the Celtics, I think the MVP is White because if you go through MVP as the definition, if you take MVP as the whole, right?
Yeah.
Going into this year, you expect him to be a top 5 player, and that's how he's playing. He's playing as a top 5 player in the league.
Yep.
Expectations here, Tatum is here.
Yes.
Right? Coming into this year, your expectation of Derek White was probably right here.
Yep.
Role player, maybe 6 man off the bench, maybe 6 man of the year winner, right? He's up here right
Yes.
now. He's playing out of his freaking mind.
Yep.
So that's where it's like one of those where it's like he's exceeding and doing more than what you expected and performing at such a high level.
Yep.
That like to me he's your team MVP because
Correct.
he's playing so much
That's
more
a good
than
take.
what you need.
Yeah, that's a good take because the definition of most valuable player is the one that helps you win the most each game.
If you trade him out for Smart or Brogdon,
I
don't think that you're anywhere. I don't think you're 18-5.
You're not. You're absolutely not. You probably have 10 losses. I don't know about that.
But
you don't have Porzingis if you have Smart. You don't have Porzingis.
You're probably 15-8 or somewhere around there.
Yep.
Or like 14-9, 13-10, somewhere right around there.
Yeah.
I can see that. And I am saying like if you exchange Derek White into the Marcus Smart.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you still have Porzingis,
you
yeah,
got
whatever.
Porzingis. If
Yeah.
you took the
Gotcha.
team as it is.
Gotcha.
Put
Yep.
Smart
Switch
on
the
there
two.
and took White off.
Yep.
I think you're not as good, and that's where I think White is low key the MVP of the team because the way that he's playing is elevating the team as a whole.
Yep.
Because of how well that he's playing in his role.
I'll tell you what, he better get most improved player then if he's not in the top 100.
He better get his first career freaking All-Star. He's
True.
never been an All-Star before?
No, I knew that. I knew
that-
that, but I think this year is going to be the Celtics might have 4 All-Stars. Derek White,
They
Porzingis.
could have 6.
They could have 6 if they really wanted
Their top
to.
6 could be an All-Star team.
They really could. All right. Bruins. Kind of a mixed feeling there. They've been playing bad recently. I mean, people tell me overtime losses are different than an actual loss, but every time they lose in overtime, I still view it as a loss at the end of the day. So we're going to talk about Bruins, and we're also going to talk about, because we haven't gotten your thoughts, the Lucic situation.
What's up, Boston Bruins? Boston Bruins!
Alright, so this year the Bruins have been playing well, but I'm going to keep the same philosophy as I have been. I'm not going to believe it until I see it in the playoffs.
Yep.
Because the last few years that we've seen them in the playoffs, it's just been heartbreak. Add another meme to the video. You guys got 2 memes in this. Coming,
We're back with a vengeance, baby.
Back. Mike's back with a vengeance, and he's coming in with 2 memes. So you guys are gonna absolutely love this one. Thoughts on the Bruins right now? Have you been to any Bruins games yet?
I have not. I got to get on that wagon. Been a little busy right now because of work right now, working 5 days, actual days in a row, and it's so long.
Yeah.
And of course, every time that they're there on the weekends, it's either $400 for any seat, or they're away on the weekends.
Because one of the games that I was looking at was going to see the New York Rangers, and dude,
well, the Rangers are freaking good.
They are good. I will say that.
That if they're not gonna choke, could be your Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one. If they lose, will be understandable because again, how great they've been playing. But as of right now, they've been playing good too. The Bruins have been playing phenomenal. They're doing great this year. I don't know if they're gonna be the best team in the NHL right now. It's looking like Vegas, but I will say their physicality has been a lot better than last year.
Yeah.
They're not getting pushed around or whatever, hitting each other on the boards. They're being aggressive. Puck movement's been decent. Again, that's something that I would still like a little bit cleared up because obviously you're going to miss that with Krejci and Bergeron being like the anchor of like telling guys where the puck's going to go, whatever, or like making the right play. But I mean, right now, 40 points. They're, what do we say, 18-5-4?
Yep.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I will too. It's a pretty good record. And shout out to Montgomery. Like, as much as people want to say, like, oh, Cassie won in Vegas, Montgomery, I think I saw the stat was his first 100 games is the best 100 games by any coach with any team in the NHL history. Like, clearly something is right.
Right.
Something is going right there with him connecting with the players.
Yep.
And yes, you didn't get the outcome you wanted last year, but he's still a damn good coach with this group.
Yep.
We all thought that they'd be, we're thinking, 7th seed, 8th seed, wild card, or like maybe sneaking into the top 3 in your division.
I think
to get in was a good place this year.
I think I said 5th, like at like. Yeah. I think I said 5, 6, 7, or 8. I think I said
the bottom half, but of the playoff bracket
or middle of the pack, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But like, he's putting them in competition again for another President's Trophy.
Right. Like that is absolutely crazy. There's no way I would have. If you told me, hey, here's my take. The Bruins are going to be in contention for another President's Cup after losing Bergeron, Krejci, Bertuzzi, Orlov, Foligno, and Hall, I say you're freaking crazy. But I mean, shout out to the leadership there too. Like we've been talking about the Celtics just now with Al Horford, with Marchand, McAvoy, Pasternak. They've all taken that leadership role left from Bergeron and Krejci perfectly.
I have a hot take about this.
Okay, let's hear it.
I don't think Marchand should have been captain. I think it should have gone to McAvoy.
Ooh, okay.
I'm
not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna knock it.
I don't like the idea of having a captain getting replaced every 3 years when somebody retires. Yes, Bergeron, different circumstance.
Yes,
Bergeron is a Bruin through and through, and he will have a statue outside of TD Garden at some point in our lives.
Yes,
different story. But once Bergeron retired, yes, I understand. Marchand's the most tenured guy. He's also
that's
gonna
why
be
they gave it to him.
Yes, he's also gonna have a statue.
Right,
but I just don't like the look of having a new captain every 3 years. I would much rather have it given to McAvoy because McAvoy will probably play here as a Bruin for the rest of his life as well.
Yeah.
So I would rather have somebody who's going to be have more of a say in the locker room for more than just 2 or 3 years at a time. That's just my personal take on captainship because like Chara had it for what?
He had it for a long time.
Almost 15 years.
He had it for a long time. Yeah.
He had it from 2007 to 2020. 2019.
Yep.
Like that's a damn that to me is yes, that is the way to do a captainship.
Yep.
Is that it should be for that long.
Yep.
So that's just my personal take. Plus I think that the league just doesn't doesn't have a good view. Everybody else doesn't have a good view on Marchand. So having him being the guy who leads your team, meh. It is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, you understand it, but like here's what I wish. I wish he just didn't have a captain.
I don't know.
Until, like, let's say, like, Marchand retires, and then you give it to McAvoy. Sure. But that's not the league. I understand that. Like, in baseball, you always don't have a captain. There is leaders in a clubhouse, but no one's wearing that C unless like they've been there forever. Like Marchand has, but like again with the reputation he has, I don't know. So I kind of understand where you're going with that take, but they did it because he's the longest tenured Bruin, and for that reason I understand it. But I agree with you. If it's not Marchand, it's definitely McAvoy.
Yes.
Because McAvoy at the end of the season even said I'll continue your legacy, Bergeron. He said that to him. So I understand why people would say, hey, McAvoy should have been the captain. I get it. I understand the take.
That's just my personal take. I don't think it can be Pastrnak. I don't think his game is like as much as he's a more prolific goal scorer.
He's the Jaylen Brown of hockey.
Exactly, Jaylen Brown of hockey. This man, he touches the puck and it looks like a baby deer just got born on skates. It's so dog. Helen Keller has better handles than Pastrnak. That's all I'm gonna say. So it can't be him.
We love the two players. Don't get me wrong, but that's just the truth with both of them.
It's just the truth.
It's just the truth, and we're not biased on this channel. You guys obviously know that, unless it was the one time when I was at the Patriots game against the Eagles. But anyways, that didn't work out so well. But here's the thing I said though at the beginning of the season for the Bruins. The thing I said at the beginning of the season for the Bruins is that the only way possible that they're going to be what they were last year or anything close to that last year, because they're not going to duplicate what they did in the regular season. Maybe they are. I don't know. I don't think so. I think they're going to go on this skid or whatever, and maybe they will be like the third team or fourth team in the Eastern Conference at this moment. Again, we know that they're a regular season team, whatever, but the biggest key to this team's success is going to be the two goaltenders.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be these two, because these two are the two best goalies in the league. Two of the best, I should say, if not the best. And if they're on a skid themselves, this team's not going to function the way it should be, because the two goalies for the Bruins helps them take off some slack for the lack of offense that they have, or maybe even the lack of defense that they have. Even though they have a good defensive core, I say the forwards at least, could be a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure. They are going to steal you games. That's how good your goalie pairing is.
Yep.
Like, this might be a top two goalie pairing. Like, again, we'll have to see how long they're together and what their careers look like. Mm-hmm. But this could be a potentially top two going tandem in, like, the history of the NHL. Because that is how, like, you have possibly right now two Vezina trophy candidates now in goal.
Yep.
Like, that is crazy to think about that. You realistically could play either one of these guys any night, and they could steal you games every single night.
Yep. Because Bruins right now, I think they're averaging like around 3 goals a game, whatever. I don't know if that's a high number or not. 3 goals a game, I don't think it is. I think like for a high would be like 4 goals a game or something like that. But even 1-goal games, like they're winning games like 2-1, 1-0, or even stuff like that. It's absolutely crazy. Like, again, I thought for sure at the beginning of the season that they were going to take a step back. They had James Van Riemsdyk. They had Morgan Geekie. I was like, okay, who are these players? So we got for me.
So the Bruins are 14th out of 32 for goals per game right now with 3.22. Vancouver leads with 3.83 as of right now.
Okay, so they're in the middle of the pack then.
Yep.
They're in the middle of the pack, but like as the years passed, they were, I would say, they're top 10 in goals scored in the league or whatever.
Yeah, right around there.
So they've taken a dip.
Right now,
and they're still winning games.
Right now, they are 4th in goals against a game,
which is big. That's because of the two goalies.
Yeah, at 2.4.
And McAvoy, Lindholm, Carlo. Again, I think Carlo should have been traded this offseason instead of Hall, but that's just me. And then Grzelcyk also on that core.
So last year they were 2nd in the league in goal scoring in the league. In the whole
right, exactly.
Only Edmonton had more, and obviously Edmonton with McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yep. And last year, the biggest thing for the Bruins was lack of physicality. And I felt like you brought that in with the next guy I'm going to mention, which is Lucic. But then I only got to see him once. I was so excited to see this dude come back in a Bruins uniform, and then he has to pull that crap. Again, we don't know the story still. There's conflicted sides, but we have to base it off of what we know and what we've heard right now. It doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't, and it's a shame because he's such a great figure for Boston from 2011, and
he's a Bruin legend.
Yeah.
You don't win in 2011 without him on your team.
No, you don't. Because he brings a fire, he brings a passion, he brings the big hits, and he's able to get the team going. Like, he was I think he was a low-key, great move to bring that physicality back to Boston.
Yep. Because they lost it. I think they've lost it ever since he left. You'd have it from time to time. I mean, there was times where it showed, where you had it still. I don't know if was he on the 2013 team? I think he was. I'm just going to assume he was. But in 2019...
Yeah, he when he left, he did... when he left, it did take a big dip. But you also, around the same time, also lost like key pieces like Seidenberg and Peverly Campbell, who was always a... Like, you lost some pretty core pieces right around that early, like 2013, 2014, 2015. Yep. So, you know... I just think that it's just a shame that what happened, and we'll see how it all plays out, because like in this country you're innocent until proven guilty. But we'll see. It doesn't look good for him. It doesn't look like he'll be back on the ice anytime again this year.
No, and possibly with his age or whatever
for the career.
Yeah, that's what makes me crazy is I did a video reacting to like the news or whatever and getting my thoughts, because people were asking me, hey, you haven't covered this news. Why haven't you covered it? So I was like, okay, I do have to cover it. You guys are right. I'm going to put out a video on it. And people say in my comment section, like, oh, don't judge him until the full story comes out or the court hearings or whatever. But, like, this is a Boston sports channel at the end of the day. We have to go based off of what we know already. It's not... I understand what people are saying. Like, maybe he didn't choke her or anything like that. I don't know. That's what she said, but... we have to go based off the facts that we know already. And the fact is, there's, in my opinion, with how old he is, and just the fact that he did what he did, I know people have come back from incidents like this. For example, Miles Bridges on Charlotte came back from being in prison for literally the same thing. And he's back on the court. Somebody mentioned another scenario in hockey where they were back. But you know what the thing with those two situations is? Those two players were young. So there's still talent there. And of course they're going to be back because the team wants the talent. And if they got the help that they felt like he needed and he did what he had to do, of course they're going to be back on the big stage. But Lucic, who's 35, 36 years old, he's not going to see the ice again after this.
No, he's already got some pretty bad back problems, too, from everything. Like, when he originally played, when they won the Cup, he was 6'4", and now he's listed at 5'10". Because his back has taken that.
Oh, my God. Somebody just subscribed to the channel as we're doing this. So, whoever subscribed, Candace Johnson, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate the love and support. You've just been featured in this video. But, yeah. He's mind blown that I have that feature on here too.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, right. He didn't know about the camera thing too, and I showed him. He goes, "I hate you." But as we were saying though, before we got interrupted from the new subscription, yeah, Lucic, the situation not great. I don't think he's gonna be back on the ice again, and it's just sad because this is what he'll be remembered for now.
Yeah.
And I guess he was in a similar situation like this in 2011 too. But it kind of went under the radar because of how good he was playing.
Didn't even know that.
I didn't know that either. Again, that was a long time ago. That was over 10 years ago, so I couldn't have told that to you.
I was in 5th grade when they won that.
I was in 6th.
Wild.
Yeah, that is wild for sure. Bruins got to keep on pushing. Again, we'll see how they do. Definitely need some forward depth at the deadline, if anything.
Yeah.
That's something that they need. I haven't gotten your thoughts on the Bertuzzi, but I feel like that offseason is long and gone already. But I wish they kept him.
Quick one on that one. I think Bertuzzi will be back next year. He hates Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
He loves Boston. I think he'll be back at the end of this year, and I think it's a salary cap thing. And like I said, the next year they're gonna see like, hey, we do need that one more star up top.
Yep.
Bring back Bertuzzi.
That would be great.
I think he'll be back, and this team is going to be locked up for a long time. And honestly, you're losing to these bummy teams, and then you're
Beating the good ones.
You're hanging tough.
Right.
With the people that you're going to be seeing it come, April,
Right.
May, June. So that's where I get like a little bit of positivity and hope that maybe this offensive core, it's not great, but they're still scoring 4, 5, 6 goals against the Lightning, the Toronto. Like,
And they're still losing some, and they still lose those games, which I'm like, wow, you score 5 goals and you lose the game. That's completely crazy.
It is, but it's. I think that they're going to be able to. Again, who knows? Maybe it's just lightning in a bottle for the first half, and the second half, their legs start to show, and they don't score as many. But you know what? Right now, they're finding ways to win games, and I'm not going to complain. I'm just having fun watching them. It's fun watching them play.
Yep. I'll believe it in the playoffs, though, how good they are. I mean, it's nice to see them play good in the regular season because the next team we are going to be covering has not done that. So, shout out to the Garden Crew, as my live streamers call them, the Celtics and the Bruins, the Garden Crew. Shout out to them. They're holding it down for us in Boston sports. Great time to be in TD Garden, I'll tell you that. So, if you want to go catch some good sports games, go over to the Garden for the Bruins and the Celtics. That's all I got to say. Now we got to cover 2 bad teams. The 2 bad teams of this.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we kind of do. But, big news. Which one do you want to start off with first? Do you want to start off with...
You're already there, so we might as well.
All right, so let's talk about the Patriots. Might be making a big move soon. A move that I would say nobody would be expecting.
Michael, watch. Are you ready for some football?
I love the Patriots.
So Mike's giving me a bad face right now because I hit record for the Patriots segment, but for some reason it stopped recording, so we have to do this segment all over again. I apologize to you. Yeah. But on the bright side, you get to make fun of them all over again.
Well, they're just so bad. They are so bad. Do you know how much energy this just sucked out of me?
No, right? Me too. Tell me about it. Because, listen, insert the troll music right now. Insert the troll music. I predicted this team to go 10-7. I put it in my article, 10-7. You'll read it. I thought the offensive move that they made this offseason was great. And then on the other side of that too, I thought adding in Bill O'Brien, an actual offensive coordinator, was going to help Mac Jones. Because last year with Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, I thought that wasn't a good mix and match with them also. Because they're defensive coaches, and they went 8-9 with them. So I thought, oh, this can't get any worse, right?
Well, you got to remember that Matt Patricia is the smartest man in the room.
Oh, yeah.
I think you forget that he is a rocket scientist, so he is pretty smart, you know?
Oh, wow, he is a... Yeah, right? Tell me about it. Oh my god, I forgot. Now I have to backtrack from what I was saying in the first one. So we were talking about Mac Jones.
Yep, and we went to the draft.
We went to the draft, yeah, so...
And my take on the draft was that if...
The Patriots get number 2.
Yeah, if the Patriots have a chance to... At a certain wide receiver up there, I would go Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yep.
That's what I would do. I would secure Marvin Harrison. Go get yourself a true number 1 wide receiver. Because if you have him with Juju behind him and Kendrick Bourne, you can keep him, and Devontae Parker. That's actually a pretty serviceable, receiving core, as long as, Marvin Harrison could be a first-year standout, just like DK Metcalf was, just like how Terry McLaurin was, just like how Jay Jettas and Jamar Chase were. If he pops out like that, you look like a genius. And then going off of that, my 4th round, in the 4th round, I would select Sanders.
Yep.
I think
From Colorado. Yep.
I think he even in the third round, if you really want to reach, I would do that. I would roll with Bailey Zappi, Shedeur Sanders, and I would trade Mac Jones. And that was what would be my. And it's not because I think Bailey Zappi is better. I think Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones are the exact same quarterback, but Bailey Zappi has a better arm with a little bit more oomph behind that throw that I think that Mac just will never be able to get. So that's what I go with. And then your quarterback of the future would be Shedeur Sanders because I think he's a dog. He knows what it takes to win at this level. His dad obviously has taught him how to have a good head on his shoulders. And, he's that mobile quarterback that every Pats fan has been bitching for, wanting to get. I think that Sanders and Marvin Harrison can make a pretty good and interesting young offensive core for you.
So the key thing from his take that I just took away from is that he's on the Zappy train temporarily for one season, and then is Sanders the season after that.
I'm on the Joe Flacco train right
Oh, yeah,
now,
that's
baby.
true. That's true. Your Browns have been playing very well with Joe Flacco in the Flash.
Exactly. But yes, I would roll with Zappy rest of the year and then go to the draft. And then opening day starter next year, I would roll out with Sanders as long as he's ready.
Yep. Mac Jones, this season, not a good look.
Nope.
Not a good look at all.
Nope.
Hopefully, maybe he finds another opportunity somewhere else. Get his mind away from this mess here because it is a mess over here. And you got to feel bad for him with some sort because he followed the footsteps of Tom Brady. He was supposed to be the next franchise quarterback after the Brady era. Maybe bring back some winning in this culture. He did for one season, but then he just fell apart after that. So you got to feel bad for Jones. But at the same time, though, he kind of did it to himself, too. With all the whining and crying or whatever. He kind of did it to himself. And even you said it when it was coming to draft Mac Jones. You would rather have Justin Fields. You would rather have Trevor Lawrence. Because your exact words were actually you didn't want a quarterback for the Patriots to be named McCoracle. That was your exact words.
Yeah.
But you were saying like how Tua was seen as a bust already, and he beat out Mac Jones in the starting quarterback role for Alabama. Hey, I give the crown to you for that take.
Like I said, if Tua, people want to say Tua's a bust, and Miami should move on from him. And people were saying that Jalen Hurts is a second-round pick guy, and might not be able to. He's a fringe starter maybe in the future. And clearly, those two guys are popping off. Why do you think that this guy would be able to beat him out when
he couldn't even beat them out in Alabama?
Exactly.
Yep, you nailed that. You nailed that. And
hello, I'm really good at drafting predicting the future of quarterbacks.
The football is more your field. I will admit that. The football side is more your field. I will admit that.
But like I said the same. I said Herbert would be a good quarterback. Joe Burrow, obviously, everybody knew. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence. But I'll always take Trevor Lawrence. I say that take was my best take over Tom Brady.
Yeah, that was.
And then Hurts. Like every year, I can give you one quarterback who's a first round that is going to be a damn good quarterback, and I can give you a quarterback in the third, fourth, fifth round that'll be available there that could sneak into being a good quarterback.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, like, I never liked Mac Jones. Even when he was in college, I always thought that he would be at best a fourth round, fifth round pick, a flyer type of guy. Never thought he would be able to be a franchise guy, and I think that pick set back the.
And you know where that falls on? You know who that falls on too? It falls on Bill.
Okay.
It falls on Bill. And the reasoning for that is because his first year, you even got to admit, he exceeded expectations for you his first year.
True.
How does he fall off a cliff that fast after that first year? It's got to do with him, with his roster management on the offensive end, not getting protection for him. As I've been saying, they need a number one wide receiver, that guy who can get the ball no matter who's on him. I've been saying that. He did good at the tight end position. I think Hunter Henry's great. Ramondre Stevenson is good. I even think Zeke, for the most part this season, has been okay.
Their wide receivers and their tight ends and their running backs are not the problem.
Right.
They have good. Both rooms are good with Pharaoh Brown and Gesicki with Hunter Henry.
Yep.
Both rooms of those are good.
Yep. And then there's now the rumor coming out that Bill and the Patriots are expected to part ways after the season ends. And you know what also doesn't help? It doesn't help when he hired Matt Patricia and Joe Judge to run the offense. Last year. I definitely think that took a toll on him. But this year, though, I will say in the defense, they got Bill O'Brien, who is an Alabama guy himself, who is an offensive coach to run the offense. Why hasn't Mac Jones done better? I don't know. But this season, I will say 50-50 on Mac, 50 of it on Bill for not getting him the help that he needs. And what's your take on the Bill Belichick news? Because there are some conflict takes right now on the news breaking out in New England.
So, going back to what you said about the 50-50, I'm putting in an additional 50%. Yeah, fuck your pie chart. I don't care what your pie chart. I'm putting an extra 50% in there on Robert Kraft because
Good point.
I think that the Mac Jones pick was Robert, not Bill, and I think that's why Bill has been able to last so long with Mac, and surprisingly that they're moving on now.
And honestly, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm not even saying good point in terms of that. I'm saying good point in being one of the lowest payrolls in the NFL.
Oh, I think it's on. No, I don't think it's that at all. I mean, they're not that low of a payroll compared to other teams. They want, if you want to say that, yeah, they're in the bottom, half of spending in the league, but realistically, they're, $10 million away from being the first spending team in the league.
Really? Is it that much of a difference?
It's not really. That's more hyperbole. But if they spent $10 more million, they'd be in the top, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
So, and plus they'd get cap penalized, and it's a whole mess.
Yeah.
So they're not really that far off from the other higher spending teams.
All right.
I think it's just more in the fact that I think that, like I said, I think Robert wanted to say, we need a quarterback. Let's go with this. Let's go with whoever quarterback is there. I like that Mac Jones kid, and Mac was there, and that's just what happened.
Yep.
I don't think Bill is in love with that. I don't think Bill likes taking a first-round quarterback anyways, because they always say a desperate franchise takes a position they need and not the best available player.
Right, exactly.
You always want to get the best available player in every draft.
Yep. And you don't think they did that in that draft, which now I think it's clear as day they did not do that in that draft.
2021 NFL draft, first-round picks.
You were saying trade up for Justin Fields.
I think that he would have been better.
Yeah, that was the guy we wanted all along.
All right.
I remember that podcast too. We were talking about Justin Fields, and you were saying, I don't want a quarterback here named McCorkle.
So, let's see. So after Mac Jones, notable picks. Najee Harris, Travis Etienne for the Jaguars. Greg Newsome from the Browns. I think he's a great shutdown quarter. Rousseau on the Bills, who's game wrecking anytime you play him. Landon Dickerson for the Eagles. Dude's a great offensive guard. Like he's a top guard in the league. Asante Samuel Jr. You can get another lockdown corner. Jeremiah Wusu-Koramoah, top 5 linebacker in the league right now. He fell. Nick Bolton, another great linebacker. Like there are just so many. Creed Humphrey for the center for the Chiefs. Pretty sure he was an All-Pro, first-team All-Pro.
I think he was too. Yeah.
Like there are so many better positions that are below that you could have picked.
So do you want my take on the parting ways news first? You want my take on it, or do you want to say your take first? All right. So my take is this: the coach Bill Belichick, the head coach Bill Belichick. If you want to argue with me that they shouldn't have part ways with the coach, we can have that debate. Personally, I like the fact that they're moving on from the coach Bill Belichick, and the reasoning for that is because I just want a new culture. Clearly, the last 3 out of 4 seasons under Bill Belichick hasn't worked. The Patriot way hasn't worked. He's old school, and there's just a new generation of football players coming up I don't think he fits that scheme anymore for you. Maybe he will elsewhere, like the Chargers. Maybe they need better defense or whatever. So maybe he fits them. People are telling me you're crazy for thinking that firing the coach is warranted. Let me say this right now. If this is any other coach, he would have been gone already. Look what happened to Brandon Staley today for the Chargers. He got the boot after getting blown out 63-21. How many times has Bill Belichick been blown out this season? He's been blown out quite a bit. He's 3-10 right now, where expectations going into the season, maybe flirting with the playoffs, he has grossly failed those expectations. I think the firing of the coach is warranted. I would like to see a new guy. I've been saying I want Mike Vrabel on this team. That would be my next coach. But we can have the debate on that. But I think we can all agree on this. Firing the GM, Bill Belichick, 1,000% the right move.
All right, so 3 players that I have found that got selected after. Amon St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Evan McPherson.
Yep.
Tyler Hufanga.
Ooh.
Those are the other 3. I'll make sure I didn't butcher his name too bad.
Doesn't matter. They know what you're talking about.
Talanga Hufanga.
Yeah.
3 people. 2 of them are Pro Bowlers. Amon-Ra and Hufanga. Who are probably going to be all pros this year. If not, then in the next 5 years, they'll probably be all pro a couple times.
Yep.
And Evan McPherson, who is an ice-cold kicker.
Yep.
So, like, positions you need were available.
Yeah, right?
And you went with Mac Jones. So,
Yeah.
that's just my personal take on that.
Right.
And yes, I agree with you. The GM's got to go. Head coach, I think after the Brady divorce, you got to pick one side. You pick Bill. Just ride the Bill head coach.
And I understand that take.
Until he goes, breaks a record, you can go,
And by the way, nobody's take on him as the head coach is wrong. If you want to feel like he should be fired, absolutely. If you feel like he should stay, absolutely. I will understand everybody's opinion in terms of the head coaching side. However, the GM side, he's got to go.
Yes.
His mismanagement of the roster has costed them games. Multiple games.
Yep.
As you mentioned, the draft, in that year alone, the 2021 draft, we're not even talking about where he picked, N'Keal Harry. He picked N'Keal Harry over DK Metcalf. His face is down. And absolutely. And then he lets Jacoby Myers go for Juju Smith-Schuster. Originally, I liked the Juju Smith-Schuster signing. But honestly, if you're switching out Jacoby Myers for Juju, I don't know. I like Juju, but he has not worked out here.
Nope.
He's not worked out here. Even Devontae Parker, really. Devontae Parker, what was this year the season where he let the ball fall right through his hands? That ended up costing him the game, and he goes, fingertips.
Yep.
That was this season? If you're supposed to be the number 1 wide receiver on your team, and it hits your hands, catch the damn ball. If it hits your hands and it falls right through you, that's on you. I think the Patriots need a number 1 wide receiver. I think they need an offensive line. And Bill Belichick will not be able to construct a team on the offensive end.
Nope.
I don't think so. I think he's too focused on the defense. The defense is not your issue right now. A fully healthy Patriots defense with what they have right now is a good defense. And we know defense wins championships and all that. But nowadays, in the modern era of football, you need a good offensive side as well.
Yep.
And one side of the ball extremely outweighs the other side of the ball. And that's why the GM, Bill Belichick, has to go.
Just gotta go.
He's got to go. Simple as that. I don't think you have a problem at tight end. I know Hunter Henry's contract's up. I think you should re-sign him. I even think you should re-sign Ezekiel Elliott because he said he's interested in coming back here. The running backs and the tight ends right now are the only side of the offensive ball where you don't have an issue. It's everything else. And if you're asking me, I don't trust Bill this offseason.
Nope.
As the GM. That's just my take. That's my take on the Bill Belichick news. We love you, Bill. We're going to miss you. It's going to be weird seeing you coach another team, but it's like that scene in Cars where Doc Hudson's telling McQueen when his time was up. He goes, when I got back to racing, you know what they said? You're history. Move right over for the next rookie standing in line.
When I finally got put together, I went back expecting a big welcome. You know what they said? You're history. Moved right on to the next rookie standing in line.
It's that time for Bill.
The one caveat I'd say is that I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams is there to draft. Lincoln Riley might be the new head coach, the USC coach, because
Really?
yes, because Caleb Williams followed him from Oklahoma to USC, and I wouldn't be surprised if somehow they end up together in an NFL team. And if that happens to be New England, I could see it happening because New England now has a head coach vacancy.
Yep.
So we'll see.
We'll see. I'm done with the Patriots.
Me too.
I've been drained with us having to cover them for pretty much a half hour now. Pretty much a half now we had to cover them because I forgot to record the first time around. Now we're on to the other team. Now we're on the other bad team. We're ending strong here. We're ending with the bum socks next. And we haven't gotten your opinion on the Bloom firing, so we're going to get that in there as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, evacuating for Boston.
So here's some good news before we head into another depressing segment. The Celtics are up by 23 right now with no Porzingis, no Al Horford, and no Murder Cornet. That was your nickname. You had the Murder Cornet nickname.
Yep.
That's the good news. The bad news is we still have to talk about another bad team on here.
10 minutes, all you get.
10 minutes is all they're getting. Unless we're talking about your Yankees in
Nope,
this segment.
10 minutes.
Oh, he wants 10 minutes on them. Perfect. All right. So, Bloom was fired.
Thank God.
Thank God is right. But you know what's still the problem in this team? They still have the same ownership.
Not good.
And guess what? The ownership's back right on their shit again. We have our ownership. And they don't want to spend this season. So that's not good. And people would say, especially coming out from Sam Kennedy, oh, we want next season to be a playoff team, saying like, hey, things are going to change.
I want to make that clear. Like this is, there's a desire to compete. You've heard us say it, and sometimes those words ring hollow when you've had two very disappointing seasons. But there's just nothing like winning in Boston, and we need to get that back. We want to get back. I think AC said it the other day. Like forget the championships of the past. We need to focus on what's in front of us, and we want to get that feeling. So we want that winning feeling, and our fans deserve that. So we're gonna have to do what it takes to get there, and that's what we're committed to do.
What has changed? Nothing! Except that your Yankees have gotten much, much, much better. So shout out to your Yankees, because they're making moves that the Red Sox should be doing. And oh, by the way, I think you got a little shout out to Craig Breslow too, right?
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving us a new left fielder. Right fielder. We'll see where he plays.
You're going to love him. You're going to love his energy. You're going to love how he just puts the bat on the ball. You're going to love Verdugo.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to watch him up here for a little bit, so, I mean...
He's going to love that short wall.
Oh, yeah, he is. That short porch with bat-to-ball contact all the time, he's going to be eating up that right field over there because he couldn't eat it up here, so he's going to eat it up at Yankee Stadium. And I already saw him in the clean shave, too.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, that dropped today, I believe.
Oh,
I didn't put it on the segment here, but yeah, I saw him with a clean shave. He looks weird, but it is what it is. He's on your team. He's on the Yankees. What is this team doing?
I don't know because they're like half buying, half selling. They're half in, they're half. I don't know.
I wouldn't even say they're half in there. I think they're just selling in general. They got Tyler O'Neill, but at the same time, it still feels like they're in sell mode. Because last year, Tyler O'Neill had a down year. I think he's only had one good season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but he probably has. How long has he been in the year? Does he have another year team control? Is this like
this is the last year.
Oh, this is the last.
This is his last year under team control.
Then I really don't get it. I don't understand.
You know what it is? It's another Heimblum robot move. Low risk, high reward. Oh, if he has a full season, maybe he turns to his 2021 form where he had 34 home runs and like 100 RBIs or whatever it is. Maybe he turns to that form. You know what? I'm done with that side of baseball. The robot, oh, we need these low risk, high reward moves. Like what? You should be in on guys like Shohei Yamamoto, who I don't think they're going to get.
There ain't nowhere near in on Yamamoto.
No, I don't think so.
No, they can go kick rocks.
They need pitching, yes. They need everything, really. But, like, the biggest need is pitching. They're, like I said on my last reaction video, they're the interest kings. They say they're in on everybody, but in reality, they're just trying to get the better end of the deal, so they don't end up signing anybody.
Nope.
And that's on Henry. I'm not going to give the blame to Breslow because no wonder why these GMs that they were trying to interview or whatever were declining interviews with them. No wonder why. They don't want to spend because GMs are looking at their situation and they're like, that's not where you should be. You should be bringing in players. If I was still like a diehard Red Sox fan like I was, like right? I would have been like, go get yourself either Ohtani or you get Soto and Yamamoto. Clearly, your team got Juan Soto, so we have that. You guys got the guy that I wish that the Red Sox would have gotten.
He looks so good in that uniform.
What a good picture, too, huh?
We love pinstripes.
I mean, he does. Pause. He looks good in the Yankee uniform.
Looks good in pinstripes.
He looks good in pinstripes. And I could see him having a 50-homer year, honestly.
We'll have to see what happens.
So, right now, early prediction, I got Yankees 1, Orioles 2, Blue Jays 3, Rays 4, Red Sox 5. Because the Dodgers made another move today. They made a trade for Tyler Glasnow and Manuel Margot.
So crazy.
It is. Let's talk about that real quick, because I've been talking about how I wanted Ohtani on the Red Sox, whatever. I got a picture for you. And this could have been the Red Sox. If they really wanted to be, this could have been the Boston Red Sox. These three guys in the same team in the Red Sox uniform. If the front office really wanted to spend, and they spent on the right guys, like for example, I've been saying that the Red Sox should have signed Mookie Betts, which by the way, the Verdugo trade to New York closes that entire deal, and the verdict on that, you absolutely failed that trade. You lost it completely. So you ended up trading Mookie Betts for Connor Wong and the Yankees' 3 prospects, or whatever that you guys gave us.
Nobodies.
Pretty much nobodies.
Nobodies.
You know the farm system more than I do for the Yankees.
Your best pitcher, your second best pitcher in your system is Dick Fitz. That's his name, is Dick Fitz.
I know. I've been seeing people saying, I really have to root for a guy named Dick. No, you can root for players that you loved rooting for when they were on the Red Sox, like Mookie Betts, like Xander Bogaerts, like Nathan Eovaldi, like Christian Vasquez, or Benintendi, or Alex Verdugo.
Oh, it's so nice.
You know what? I'm going to say it. I love it. I love it. Because I love seeing, like, Red Sox fans still not... A lot of them have come to the realization that the ownership needs to sell. And a lot of the fans are starting to take my course. I'm not coming back until changes happen. You either sell the team, you either get your act together, or whatever. A lot of fans are saying that. One notable one that has now taken my side. Shout out Jared Zero on Twitter. He's a huge Celtic fan on Twitter. He even retweeted my tweet saying, wow, called it from day one. Shout out to him. But yeah, what could have been? Could have had Mookie Betts in a Red Sox uniform for life. You could have had Ohtani in a Red Sox uniform for life. Could have even had Freeman. Because they were in on Freeman after that 2021 season.
Were they in on him, or...
So, I'll rephrase it. They were interested, but, like, they didn't want to make a big move, I guess.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
But you know what they did instead? They got Trevor Story to be their shortstop for the future because they knew they weren't going to pay Xander Bogaerts.
No, he's their second baseman for the future. So why would you need Mookie Betts when you have Trevor Story to play second base?
Oh, I know, right? Exactly. Oh, you know what I mean? People are saying right now, oh, you need a second baseman on your team. Well, you know what? I'm thinking of a pretty damn good second baseman that can fit your team right now. Oh, it's Mookie Betts. And guess what? Not only did you trade that player away, who's a generational talent, which is a first ballot Hall of Famer, by the way. I think that case is closed. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Not only did you trade him away, but what did you get for him?
Nothing.
Trash. It's all trash, the garbage.
Got suspects. That's who you got.
Suspects that's going to turn into nobodies. You got Connor Wong. That's your only major league piece right now.
Alright. I'm done with him.
Yeah, it's been 11 minutes that I'm recording. Well, 2 of those minutes have been you trying to figure out.
Yeah, but still, it's too much. The Red Sox suck.
Yeah, they do.
They suck and they blow. They're almost as bad as the gutless bums.
And they're on the Red Sox too.
Yeah,
so that's the point though. They suck, they blow, and they suck even more.
They're terrible. They're garbage. They're trash. Twash!
Insert the twash, the original one. When the Xander Bogaerts signed with San Diego. Not gonna lie though, as a person rooting for Xander Bogaerts and his team right now to win, I felt like our trade with the Juan Soto trade worked out for both ends. We got the pitching that we needed. You guys got the outfield big bat that you guys needed. I feel like it worked out. It hurts losing Soto, obviously. But I will say this, though, in terms of Padres. The fact that their TV deal got stripped away from them last season really hurt them.
Yep.
That's just unfortunate because if that didn't happen, I feel like we still have Juan Soto, but we had to do what we had to do, and
I guess we'll never know.
We will never know. Hopefully the Padres spend on some pitching. Maybe this lets them get Blake Snell back, this move. I would love to see Blake Snell back in San Diego. There's still a potential winning team there. We only lost Juan Soto. That's really it. We could still make a run, but guess what? If it's not the Padres going to be in the playoffs, if it's not the Padres, then my team's going to be the Dodgers. And it's just as simple as that. And I love Ohtani and Dodger blue. I would love to see a Yankees-Dodgers World Series. That would be great. How great of a matchup would that be? That's a 7-game series.
Especially if the Yankees got Yamamoto. It'd make it real interesting if the Yankees got Yamamoto.
That would be real interesting. Oh my god, if
Yamamoto, Ohtani, final out for Game 7.
That would be really...
That would be storybook.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy. As a baseball fan, honestly, I would love to see the two match off in the World Series. How down bad would Red Sox fans be if Yamamoto signs with the Yankees?
I don't think they will even notice or care.
Oh, no, they will care. They will most certainly care. But then they'll be saying what happened, why. They'll be trying to say that this is what's going to happen with Red Sox fans if they don't get Yamamoto. They're going to sign Jordan Montgomery and be happy with the offseason. That's what's going to happen. And then I'm just going to look at them and be like, you realize you're a last place team again this year, right? You realize that, right?
I think Montgomery will go back to the Rangers. I think that Scherzer being done till halfway through the year, I think
brings him back.
Yep. So, I don't know. We'll see.
It's still early in the offseason.
Yep.
Your offseason is pretty much set for the most part.
We're not done yet.
You're not done, though.
No.
And that's the scary thing.
We're not satisfied.
Meanwhile, you got the Kansas City Royals spending more than the Red Sox right now. I saw that today.
With 2 former Red Sox on their team.
Yeah, right. They spent about $105 million, something like that, this offseason so far. You know how much the Red Sox have spent this offseason? $1 million.
Oh, my.
$1 million.
On who?
I don't even know who the name is, honestly. It was a Tampa Bay Rays relief pitcher. That's all you need to know. And guess what? He had a 5 ERA last year.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's going to do it for our first podcast back in a long time. Yes, sir. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We're not going to go this long again without a podcast.
Thank God.
Yeah, right. Please know if you guys enjoy these videos. Subscribe now if you guys know what you guys know what to do. Go check out our website. The link is in the description down below. Also, go buy your merch. Go buy your merch. This dude was the one that set up the whole entire thing. I gave him the ideas for the shirts or whatever, and he pretty much put it all together. So go check out your merch. Links in the description down below as well. When you go onto the website, you're going to go over to a tab where it says Store Link. It will bring you right there, and then there will be a link that will bring you directly to the store, and it will give you everything that you can buy on that store. What do we got on there? Phone cases, shirts.
Yep.
We
Phone cases,
got
shirts, hats.
Hats, yep.
Oh, yeah. We got it all.
We got t-shirts. Also, as I'll be back real quick.
And you know what? If you have other ideas, what you want, leave it on the BEANTOWN Takes website. We have options that you can leave something to drop. Let us know what you want. If you want like a Bruins shirt, you want a Red Sox shirt, you want a Pat shirt, you want stickers, you want flags, you want banners, let us know. We'll be able to. We will mock it up and get it to you.
Absolutely. As I just showed you, the Forever 19 merch. That's on there too. So go cop that. That seems to be everybody's favorite t-shirt. The Forever 19 one. Everyone's loving that, including Brie herself. She's rocking that in the background of her post-game recaps, whatever. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it when people rep the merch. And if you guys have bought our merch already, send us pictures. Like you can tag us on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. We'll repost them. We'll give you guys shout outs or whatever. If you guys, I think it's over here. Yes, it is over here. If you guys got your merchandise, you also get a little thank you card from us too. So make sure you show it off on the social medias at BEANTOWN Takes, and then at myself, Jesse Almeida 05, and then at Mike.Capola 12. Yes, correct. Go get your merch. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for watching this podcast. It's been your boy Jesse.
It's been Mike.
And we're out of here. See you later.
BEANTOWN.
BEANTOWN.